Listen, listen, listen. Come on, tell me that is not the greatest sound ever. I mean, it's the coolest sounding gun and caliber in the world. Haters gonna hate, but the 308 is still pretty great. Look, I know the 308 Winchester, it is about as exciting as plain vanilla ice cream. But there's still a lot to love about this venerable cartridge that's been around since about the 1950s. And today we're gonna talk about why the 308 is still pretty stinking great. Without giving you all the boring specs and stuff of the 308 Winchester, it's probably one of the most common calibers out there for rifle cartridges that just about everybody's heard of, just about everybody knows about. And one of the really great benefits that I'm going to start off talking about with this cartridge is Ubiquity. It's available everywhere. You can walk into just about any gun store in the country and you can pick up a 308 rifle, multiple types of rifles, all right? So you can get it in multiple platforms. Semi-automatic platforms like this M1A, you can get it in bolt action, Remington Model 700 type of platforms like this, just a standard bolt action from just about every manufacturer out there makes a 308 Winchester. And it works well and functions well in all those platforms. And you can find it everywhere. You can also find just about any type of ammo you can imagine for the 308 Winchester in every gun store in the Western world. Okay, seriously, if you walk into a gun store and you can't find 308 Winchester on the shelf, you can't find a rifle to shoot it out of, any gun store in this country, if you can't find that, you need to smack the guy that owns that store. That's a beautiful thing. You can walk into any gun store in the Western world and you can find rifles and ammo for the 308 Winchester. Now, if you want a history lesson on it, I'm not going to give you that here because you can find that everywhere. The information's so common. Built in the 1950s-ish, it was developed and adopted by the military. It actually has a very short military service life as a battle rifle cartridge, so a semi-automatic platform, because World War II came, or excuse me, Vietnam came along, 223 came along with that, the 5.56 NATO, and it kind of replaced it really quickly. But the 308 has maintained its position in the military going forward from then until now as a sniping cartridge. So a lot of the snipers have used it in military and law enforcement, and as a machine gun cartridge, which is really cool. So it actually has a really long service lifespan in the military and law enforcement communities, but not as a main battle rifle or as a battle cartridge, even though it is fantastic for that. All right, next let's talk about the versatility. From mice to moose, you can shoot just about everything that needs to be shot in just about any scenario with 308 Winchester. You can find bullets, loads, and compatible cartridges, you know, cartridge configurations and rifle configurations for hunting and shooting in just about every scenario, from combat to hunting to self-defense, to all of those things. You can find great self-defense loads in shorter barrels and all kinds of stuff. Like, it's just so stinking versatile of a cartridge, which brings me to the next point. It's a very, very good and proven battle and sniping cartridge. So in that category specifically of self-defense or tissue disruption of soft and squishy critters, two-legged or four-legged or anything in between, it's great at that. It's been proven as a sniper round for a long time. It's not an ultra long range, uber Gucci, you know, mile-long shooting round. It's not that. That's not what the 308 Winchester is. It's not what it was designed for. It's not what it's great at, okay? There are cartridges out there that are way better at ultra long range stuff, like the 6.5 Creedmoor and stuff like that in the small action platform. There's a lot of cartridges that do a lot better job at longer ranges, but there's hardly anything that stacks up to it as well at medium, intermediate, and moderate ranges. And I'm talking specifically about cartridges that are available. I mean, there's some Gucci whiz-bang cartridges and Wildcats out there, and target cartridges that do great. Like the 6mm target cartridges will beat a 308 handily all day long. But if you're talking about tissue disruption type of things, taking down targets, the 308 is great in just about any configuration that you can think of to put it in. From moderate barrel lengths, we're talking 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 inches, 18 inches being kind of a sweet spot, up to 20, 24 inches. Anywhere in there, this cartridge works really good. Personally, I find the 18-inch barrel for a hunting rifle configuration, or, you know, moderate to medium long-range rifle configuration, to be just about optimal. You get great burn rates out of an 18-inch barrel with a 308 and the common high ballistic coefficient projectiles like the 168 SMKs and things in that general class. You get almost all the barrel or powder burn you need to out of an 18 to 20 inch barrel, so you don't really need to go much further than that. And it's more than effective on game. As I can show here, my dad actually took his first moose after 15 years of waiting for a tag with this rifle right here, 308 Winchester, with 165 grain GMX hand load that I had loaded up for it, 18 inch barrel. Thank you, Mr. Moose, for donating your body to the meat stash for the winter, for the year, and giving Dad a win.
Let's flip this dude now.
All right. Oh, we got to get to work now. All right. This is a bone stock Remington 700. Okay, I didn't do anything to this rifle except for put it in the field stock. It had a HS Precision stock on it. No, a Bell & Carlson. Had a Bell & Carlson stock on it before, but I put it in this field stock from MDT with some MDT magazines, you know, the AICS style magazines, which is pretty good upgrade to me. And the 18-inch barrel, I mean, this is literally, I think it's the Remington Model 700. It doesn't even have anything fancy written on it. It's just Remington Model 700. I think it's, you could call it an SPS Tactical if you wanted to, but it's not even that. It's just basic Remington 700. It had a 26-inch barrel on it, which I cut and crowned to 18, and that is the only thing I've done to this thing other than work up loads and shoot the snot out of it. Next point I want to bring up is brass and reloading. You can find ammo, components, bullets, powders, and primers, all those things everywhere for the 308 Winchester. It is not hard to find brass and reloading components for the 308 Winchester. I mean, if you go to like Lake City, if you look for Lake City, so once fired brass, like range brass or from military use drop brass or whatever, you can find this stuff everywhere. We're talking pennies on the dollar for brass that is fully boxer primed reloadable stuff. That's really hardcore heavy duty stuff that will last for years and years. I have a pack of Lapua brass that I actually inherited from somebody. They gave me that they had used for matches for years and shot through it. They'd shot 5 or 6 loadings through it, and after he did that, he always got rid of his brass and got new stuff. I've been reloading it for 5 years now, and it was still great brass, and I've only had to toss a few of them for primate pocket loosening up and stuff like that. So the 308's pretty easy on brass and stuff, especially in bolt guns and stuff like that. DMRs, it's a little harder on brass, but in a bolt gun, your brass for a 308 is going to last a long time. And the barrel life on these things is super long. You can get one of my friends, okay, just an example, one of my friends who was a sniper in the Marine Corps, he has a 308 that he's been shooting for years and years and years, and he's getting close to 10,000 rounds on this thing that he's told me about. 10,000 rounds, still got sub-minute accuracy, well below sub-minute, well below, we're talking like half minute or less, because it's built that kind of rifle for himself when he got out of the Marine Corps, and he was also a law enforcement sniper as well. So he has a lot of familiarity with that cartridge and the platform, and he's used it for years, and it's all he uses, and it does everything you need him to need to do with it, and you can reload and shoot the sucker forever. Next point I want to bring up is they're actually really easy to shoot. A 308 Winchester, while it does have a little more thump than a 6.5 Creedmoor or 243, some of those common smaller deer rifle cartridges, it's actually not hard enough of a thumper. It's not big enough of a recoil and stuff on it that it's not manageable for smaller stature shooters or younger people. So it's really actually a very usable and shootable cartridge overall for the average user, the average shooter, and even smaller stature or newer shooters. It's not something that's going to beat you to death. It's got some thump, it's got some weight behind it, it's got some meat behind the ground. It's a 30 caliber round flying 2,600, 2,700 feet per second, so you've got a lot of terminal effect down range. So it's a great cartridge for hunting, it's a great cartridge for all those things, but it's not going to beat you to death shooting the thing. Contrasting that with something like a 300 Whiz Mag, or a Winchester Short Mag, or 300 Win Mag, or 300 PRC, something like that. Those heavy 30s, the Magnums especially, they will beat the snot out of you if you're not used to that, or you're not tuned for heavy hitting calibers that just have a lot of recoil. It's an exponential gain in recoil as you go up into those 30 cal Magnums. So the 308 is a sweet spot in that you got all the power you need in moderate ranges, especially moderate hunting ranges, 400 yards and in, moderate sniping ranges, say 700 to 800 meters and in. You've got everything you need, but without the fuss and whiz and bang of a big 300 Magnum. Combat and self-defense, we already talked about that. Hunting, it is perfectly suitable for just about any hunting scenario for any game you can think of, up to and including moose and elk. There's not anything I wouldn't kill in North America with a 308. If I was going for grizzly bear, I probably maybe wouldn't take it as my primary only going for grizzly hunting thing. I might go for a 300 Magnum. But if it's a backup rifle, say you have a truck gun or whatever that you keep in grizzly country or something just around and handy, a 308 semi-automatic like this will put a lot of hurt on a big round and put them down. Platforms, like I said, the platform's use is there's almost no platform you can't use a 308 Winchester in, which kind of brings me to my final point about the 308 Winchester and why it's so wonderful. You can get it in a belt fed. All right, that's it for today. Thank y'all for joining me again. Just some fun topic stuff about the 308 Winchester and why I think it's one of those rounds that's gonna stick around for a long stinking time. I don't think the 308 Winchester is gonna go out of, favor or out of style anytime in the near future. Probably not in my lifetime, because it's one of those guns that if I had to pick, it's hard, because if somebody said you could only pick one cartridge, one caliber for the rest of your life to shoot one thing, you could have all the rifles you want in it and all the ammo you wanted, but it can only be one. I have a hard time not picking the 308. I know it would be fun to go with like a 6.5 Creedmoor or 6.5 PRC or a 300 whiz bang magger or whatever, but just because of the way the world works and the truth and fact of the world with the cartridge ubiquity and availability, I'd have a really, really hard time not picking the 308 Winchester. Y'all let me know what you think. Get in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you had to say about it. Y'all have a blessed day.